What's up, everyone? Welcome to the November 30th edition of the NBA Injury Report brought to you by BetMGM. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We have a huge 13-game NBA slate to look at tonight. Not surprisingly, we do have plenty of questionable players to talk about, although maybe not as many as you would typically expect on a slate of this size. Still plenty of news to get to. But first, click the link in the description below. Sign up and make a deposit at BetMGM. Place $10 on any pregame World Cup money line and receive $200 in free bets if any team scores a goal. And that does not mean any team in the game that you bet on. It means any team in the World Cup, period. There's already been goals scored in the World Cup. So this is literally free money, $200 in free bets by simply placing a $10 bet on a pregame World Cup money line. Click the link in the description below to take advantage of this offer from BetMGM. Now, looking at the injury news that we are waiting on, DeAndre Hunter is questionable for the Atlanta Hawks. If he were to miss this game, it is likely that AJ Griffin joins the starting lineup. As we saw last time out, he would be a reasonable value option, but it shouldn't have much of an impact on the main pieces in the Hawks starting lineup because Hunter's not a particularly high usage guy anyway. You could potentially see a bit more usage for John Collins, but I don't expect a huge effect outside of playing time for guys like AJ Griffin if Hunter misses this game. For the Orlando Magic, Mo Bamba is questionable. If he is good to go, I expect that he starts with Wendell Carter Jr. still out. If he is out, I'm not entirely sure what the Magic are going to do. They started Caleb Houston in Bamba's place last game, but now they also have Cole Anthony back. They have Markelle Fultz back. So we're probably going to just see a completely different starting lineup than last game. Anyway, if Bamba's in, he's going to look like a reasonable center option in tournaments. If he's out, I don't really think it opens up a ton for Orlando on this particular slate. Anyway, for the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown is questionable. He missed the last game, and if he's out again tonight, you certainly get a bump in usage and productivity for Jason Tatum. You also get marginal increases in productivity for the rest of the starters, Marcus Smart, Derek White, Al Horford in particular. For the Miami Heat, Dwayne Dedmon, Tyler Hero, Hayward Highsmith, and Nikola Jovic are all questionable. Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, and Caleb Martin are also listed as questionable, but they are all expected to play. This team is an absolute mess. It's really difficult to efficiently describe what to do with any of this. We know that Jimmy Butler is out, so we know that Bam Adebayo is going to look better than normal anyway. If Tyler Hero happens to also be out, that's even more production available for Adebayo and Kyle Lowry. If Dedmon is out, then you don't really have a backup for Adebayo, so you could project a few more minutes for him. If all of the questionable guys are out, then you're getting really shorthanded, and we're getting back to previous Miami situations where you just run out of bodies and kind of play everybody. So I think outside of just if all the questionable guys sit, then they're really shorthanded. I think the most useful piece to pay attention to is Tyler Hero. If he's out, we know that's going to make Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo look quite a bit better with Jimmy Butler already being ruled out. For the Memphis Grizzlies, Dillon Brooks is questionable. If he misses this game, I'm not sure who starts in his place. It could be Tyus Jones starting alongside John Morant with Kennedy Chandler entering the rotation as the backup point guard. It could be David Roddy. Jake LaRavia is doubtful, so it probably won't be him. Santi Aldama has not played many minutes at all alongside Jaren Jackson, so I'm not expecting it to be him. My two best guesses are Roddy or Tyus Jones. Neither one is likely to end up being a great fantasy option, but if Brooks is out, you're looking at even more usage for John Morant. He already looks very good. He's averaged about 1.6 fantasy points per minute without Desmond Bane on the floor this year, and Bane remains out. If you take Brooks out as well, you should see even more opportunities for Morant. If Brooks is replaced with Tyus Jones, you could potentially see Morant's assist percentage drop a bit since Jones is a capable playmaker, and they could work with Morant off ball a little bit more, but it should be offset by the fact that Dillon Brooks isn't out there chucking up shots anyway. And for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels is questionable. We know that Karl Anthony Towns is out. If McDaniels plays, he should be in the starting lineup playing 30-plus minutes. If he is out, it just opens up even more minutes for some combination of Kyle Anderson, Austin Rivers, Jalen Noel, potentially Naz Reid if they decide to play him alongside Gobert. My expectation is that they probably just use Reid as Gobert's backup, but if McDaniels is out, it does become more likely that you get at least a few minutes of Reid alongside Gobert just because Minnesota would be very, very shorthanded. So even though McDaniels himself isn't a high usage player, his impact does matter just in terms of how comfortable we can be with the playing time that we're giving to guys like Kyle Anderson and Jalen Noel. So to recap, the injury news that we are currently waiting on, DeAndre Hunter is questionable for the Hawks. Mo Bamba is questionable for Orlando. Jaylen Brown, questionable for the Celtics. Dwayne Dedmon, Tyler Hero, Haywood Highsmith, and Nikola Jovic are all questionable for Miami. Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, and Caleb Martin are also questionable, but they are expected to play. Dillon Brooks is questionable for Memphis, and Jaden McDaniels is questionable for the Timberwolves.